Before I say anything, I just want to thank Donnie and Shayna for talking to me in Messenger, because you bore witness to what was going on and what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Well, you saw the text of what I was going through. You didn't see me going through it, but I want to thank you guys for being there and for listening to me, because I know I said some things that were pretty scary and triggering, and I put up warnings about it, but they said no, talk anyway, so I did. And yeah, so I had my worst meltdown of 2019 tonight on November 12th, 2019. Meltdown went on about 45 minutes to an hour, and ironically, the ones that feel the worst look the least dramatic. And I don't have any video of it because I was using my iPad to talk on Facebook Messenger to Donnie and Shayna, who I thanked in the beginning of this video. That's why I look so tired, because it was a very difficult and draining meltdown with a lot of intense emotions and intrusive thoughts. And yeah, that's why I sound so tired and drained and kind of in a monotone, because basically that meltdown took all my energy. It wiped me out. But it didn't look dramatic from the outside. I wasn't yelling and screaming and bashing my head and punching myself or yelling. I was just crying, just nonstop crying, just crying, and choking on it. And I got my tissues here and just all kinds of stuff, and it was just very, very intense crying. My eyes hurt from crying. I don't know if they look puffy. I don't want to turn on any brighter light than I have now, because it will just cause sensory overload, and that's not fun. But I want to teach you something about meltdowns, neurotypicals, because meltdowns are often treated as behavior. But here's the secret that only an autistic person can tell you about a meltdown. A meltdown is a feeling, and behavior is a result of that feeling. A meltdown is a feeling, and behavior is a result of that feeling. So what does that mean? Well, think of a tornado. A tornado is a rotating column of air that's just spinning stuff up vertically, or spinning stuff around. You can't actually see the air. You know there's a tornado because you see the condensation funnel, and you see the debris being thrown up in the air, and you see dust and stuff, or you see the bear's cage where the rain is moving across, from either right to left or left to right. Let's see. Left to right, because counterclockwise. So left to right, counterclockwise. If it was in Australia, it would be clockwise because of the Coriolis effect. But anyway, that's science. Wiley, you're making me itch. I'm gonna put you over here. Okay. But it's like a tornado. You can't see the air, but you can see the effect the air is having. And in the same vein, a meltdown, an autistic person having meltdowns is experiencing very intense emotions. It's an intensely emotional experience. At least in my case, I don't know if that's true for all autistic people, but it's intensely emotional. And when you treat it as just behavior, it's like you're ignoring that there's a person having feelings, and it's just stop doing this instead of saying, it's like what's wrong with you, when really what you should be asking is what happened to you when someone has a meltdown. Because for me, my meltdowns are all of my emotions coming up all at once, all at the same time, simultaneously. So it's just a chaotic mess, a cacophonous, chaotic, clamoring chaos just happening inside of me. And me punching myself in the head is just the outward expression of these things that are going on. So when somebody grabs my arms, I might start thrashing my head, because I have to get those emotions out. I have to vent them out. And sometimes hitting myself, the SIB, the self-injurious behavior, SIB, S-I-B, SIB, is me venting these feelings in a way that doesn't feel like my body's gonna explode. But sometimes I don't explode like that. I just cry intensely because can't think of any other way to get those feelings to come out. And sometimes it just comes out as tears. You know, that's a way to vent emotions. Sometimes it just sucks everything out of me, so all I can do is cry. But in this case, I was typing, so my hands were busy, because keeping my hands busy during a meltdown can sometimes keep me from hitting myself. Like, sometimes I will pick up Wiley and I will hold him very, very tight. Not so tight that I'm like squishing him, but like I hold on to him firmly, like this. You know, I'm not squeezing him or anything, but I'm just holding on to him quite firmly, you know, like on his arm or something. Like, I'll squeeze his hand because that doesn't hurt him, you know. You know, I squeeze his hands, or I will hug him, because it's like if I have to hit myself, I'll hit him, and I don't want to hit Wiley. So, you know, that's just one way I can sometimes mitigate SIB, but, you know, that's not going to work for every autistic person. And also, if you hand me Wiley, I'm just as likely to put him down and just keep hitting myself too. So, but to treat a meltdown as just behavior, it denies the autistic person the fact that they are a feeling human being. Because, I mean, autistic people, we have emotions just like everyone else. It's just we might express them in different ways that are not typical to what you're used to. I mean, there are some autistic people that might laugh when they're angry. Or they might act angry when they're happy. They might hit things when they're happy because they're just so excited. And, you know, and somebody else could yell and scream like they're being murdered when they are just really excited about something. I mean, you know, and it's kind of a know the person thing to understand, you know, because I can express emotions in a pretty typical-ish way that people are used to, but sometimes my anger can just come out like that and it shocks people, because I can go from laughing to Godzilla-level rage and, like, faster than Thanos can snap and dust everybody. But the meltdown I had tonight was very draining and very tiring, and, like, I have a headache from it, and, like, I feel like I'm having a hangover, kind of. Not really, because I don't have the drunk part that comes first, because I've been drunk and I've been hungover, so I know what they feel like, and it's kind of similar. Just without that heavy kind of feeling, but, like, my thoughts are really slow. I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute, but I don't think I am, but I feel like I am. I feel like the Micro Machines man, you know, from those commercials. You know, the guy that talks as fast like this. And it's just, ugh. But meltdowns are hard, and they're very internal and intense experiences. So please remember, when the autistic person in your life is having a meltdown, please remember that it's the feeling is the meltdown, not the behavior. It's a feeling. Because there are autistic people that can have a meltdown and they will just be like, but inside they're just shaken. They are earthquakes inside them. And, you know, that can also count as a shutdown, but some autistic people can cover up their meltdowns. I wish I was one of them, but I'm not. You know, I was telling Donnie, I was trying to Spock out of it, and I was turning Spock, live long and prosper, into a verb, which is the Vulcan logic of, like, controlling their emotions. You know, so I turned Spock into a verb. I was trying to Spock out of it, or I was trying to Spock it away. And didn't work. But that happens sometimes. But please remember, meltdowns are emotional and they're a feeling, and the behavior is just the result of the feeling. The behavior is not the meltdown. Okay? And Donnie and Shayna, thank you very much. I love you guys. Bye.